This is an underground mothballed, a full 50-year time capsule. Inside is the school. Letters left by the first group of students. On the day of the school's 50th anniversary, the letter in the capsule was taken as a souvenir. It was distributed to the new students at the school. What the boy got was a piece of paper covered in numbers. After going back home, he showed it to his dad in doubt. Dad is a professor of astrophysics at MIT. Inspired by the intense curiosity of scientists, he began to study the string of random numbers. David wrote out a set of figures in isolation. Try to break them into groups. The first group appears to correspond to a date, 010911. It happened to be the day of 9/11 that shocked the world. David went to search for details on 9/11. The death toll was found to be the second set of figures, 2,996. With a few clues, men continue to test in groups. Find the date and number of people listed in these figures, and for 50 years, the dates of all major disasters, and the death toll. It's a perfect match. It's just that each group will have a few numbers left behind. He doesn't know what it means yet. According to the prophecy on paper, there will be a disaster tomorrow. At that time, 81 victims will die. David scurried to find his colleague, to share this shocking discovery, and all my colleagues think is, it's a coincidence. See, others don't believe. David decided to prove his conclusion. He stayed in front of the television all night, staring at the news until you fall asleep. Wake up. In addition to that heavy rain outside, no disaster has happened. David drove to school with questions to pick up his son from school. There was a serious traffic jam on the road. Waiting. Boring. David glanced at random to navigate the latitude and longitude of the location where you suddenly find yourself. It is consistent with the mysterious number that is redundant. It turns out, the rest of the numbers represent that is the longitude and latitude of the place where it happened. David hurriedly got off the bus and inquired about the traffic jam. The traffic police looked at him in horror. The man was standing in the middle of the congested road. Suddenly an out-of-control plane came rushing in. He searched for the accident the first time. Number of people killed. Exactly 81 people. The time and place of the disaster. Again. The death toll and the prophecy on the note. Complete consistency. Follow the note and continue the reasoning. It's the next disaster in a few days. This time, the number of people killed rose to more than 100. David wanted to stop it before it happened, so he began to investigate. The girl who wrote these prophecies. 50 years have passed. The girl was old and gone. David, who can't find out anything, has to call the police. But how can the police believe that? It's impossible to predict the future. The police didn't believe me. David had no choice. Had to come to the subway station where it happened. He tried to rely on his own efforts. Prevent a disaster from happening. I saw a sneaky man in the subway station. David soon had this man locked down. For the key man in this disaster. He chased each other desperately, and finally captured him. But the other side is just a common thief. Before he could react, the real disaster struck. David got away with it again, but the prophecies still confounded him. I thought things were going to be at an impasse, but on this very day, the prophet's daughter, Lisa, found him on her own initiative. This woman is a divine master of prophecy. She said to her daughter Lisa, "You'll be dead soon after." Lisa was not reconciled to the end of her life, so she found the man who was studying the prophecies. Through David's investigation, every calamity foretold by a prophet, it all happened exactly right. According to the end of the prophecy, the human race will face another extinction. This time David wanted to make up for it. He and Lisa will find a way to break the prophecy. The two men came to Lisa's mother's house. Wall. It's all kinds of prophecies and related reports after the incident. This once again confirms the truth of the prophecy. The final prophecy pointed to a terrible result. The last human disaster. It was the end of the world. Can we just sit back and wait? While David was lost in thought, the son in the car meets a mystery man. Mystery man wants two kids to leave with him. The child's cry was heard by David inside. He pulled out a pistol. The mystery man was cornered. The mystery man is not in a hurry. There was a flash of light. The mystery man just disappeared in place. Too late to investigate the origin and purpose of the mystery man. David thought about his study of sunspots and flares. Scientifically determined. The end of the world is real. The imperative is to find a way to save humanity. He recalled the teacher who had interviewed the prophet before. The teacher said there was another string of numbers on the wall of the school, so David went to the wall of the school. After scraping off the paint, saw the string of numbers. David enters the numbers to find the latitude and longitude. The place of discovery is the old residence of the prophet himself. Lisa, on the other hand, felt there was no solution to the end of the world. She was driving with her two children to take shelter underground. David looked at quickly catch up. The mystery man reappears before the road. Lisa watched the two children being taken away by him in the night. At this time, Officials also issued an announcement about the end of the world. The streets were already in a state of chaos. Lisa still hasn't escaped the prophecy, was in a car accident on the way to get the kid back. At the same time, David chased the mystery man to the old house of the prophet. Turns out this group of mysterious people are aliens. They rode in Noah's Ark, came to the earth to save humanity from extinction, while David's son and Lisa's daughter are the lucky ones who were chosen to have the right to live in the end. Under the man's gaze, the alien leaves the earth with 2 children. In the last days of David's life, he chose to stay at home with his loved ones. With the eruption of solar activity, the heat of destruction swept across the earth. The age of man is now over, but on a beautiful planet, a boy and a girl are playing happily. The civilization of mankind has also been continued.